So Candace Owens, who is about 8 months pregnant right now, spoke at the University at Albany, New York the other day for Turning Point USA's Live Free Tour. Now, after this speech, there was a Q&A, and it's possibly one of the funniest Q&As in recent memory, just putting woke students in their place. If you guys haven't seen these clips, you're definitely going to want to check this out. Before we jump into this, though, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you all for being here. If you could please really quickly hit that like button for the algorithm, I would greatly appreciate it. And then lastly, this video is sponsored by my good friends over at Undertack. Huge shout out to them. We'll talk about them a little bit more in a bit. Let's just go ahead and jump on in.
What do you have to say to the trans students on this campus who actively feel victimized by your presence here today? Additionally, you just pointed out that this man detransitioned, but earlier in your speech...
Guys, I want to hear her. Go ahead. What do I have to say? Just the question, please. No speech. What is the question?
What do you have to say to the trans students on this campus who feel actively victimized by your presence here?
Life's tough. Get a helmet, man. I'm too pregnant for this. Next question. My goodness. Seriously, somebody just give out free hugs or something somebody give out free hugs. I can't be your mommy, okay? I'm too pregnant. I can't be your mommy.
It's so funny. I don't think we've seen a good get a helmet joke dropped since like in the last 5 years, you know? That right there is just so funny because you could just see how over it she is. It's such a stupid question. It's so absurd. You're paying tens of thousands of dollars per year for higher education, and her words are harming you. You need your little safe space. I mean, what are these people wasting their money on? What are these parents wasting their money on sending their kids to these schools? You can just see in her face how over this question she is right here. It is so funny. But also the optics of her just being pregnant and not dealing with your BS. Look, I got too many problems. I don't need this silly question being asked to me, okay? Ask a real question. I don't need to listen to this. If I were to guess, for any mothers watching this is probably incredibly relatable, which makes it that much more funny, just how she deals with this woke student. Let's go ahead and move on to this next woke student that had something to say.
As a non-binary person, what do you have to tell me about my identity? Because I know for a fact I'm not confused.
Okay, next question. Great statement. That's a statement. That's a statement. Okay, you know your identity. You're not confused. Congratulations, sweetheart. Thank you very much for your statement.
I mean, they're having these big moments. This is them standing up in their view, right? This is them standing up to Goliath. And the question that they ask is, what do you have to tell me? I have nothing to tell you. I don't even know you. I don't care about you. I'm sorry. She's saying, as a non-binary person. What is that? The funniest part about this, though, and it's just repeated in all of these scenes, is Candace is having none of it. People see how absurd these questions are, how absurd these students are. And I feel bad for these students. I actually really do. I feel really bad for them. Their minds have been totally indoctrinated, right? They're completely off the rails. But when it comes to dealing with people that are just irrational, this is certainly a way to wake some people up. People at home see this video, like, what is it? I don't even know what this girl's talking about. And Candace Owens just saying, look, I'm pregnant. I don't have time for this ridiculous question. Who looks like the adult in the room? Obviously Candace. It's funny, it is getting to a point where the response to a lot of these people, you can go different ways when it comes to responding to them. You can genuinely ask them some questions, but a lot of the questions just, they're not genuine to begin with. That girl literally went up there to say, hey, can you insult me or argue against me even though I'm taking literally no position? She said she's not confused. I don't know. Okay, great. Live your life. Have fun. All right, guys, let's take a few moments to talk about today's sponsor. There's a lot of talk right now about the sound of freedom and the horrors of human trafficking. What if I told you that you could help in the fight before even putting on your pants in the morning? The company that is sponsoring today's video, Undertack, donates a portion of the profits to multiple organizations fighting human trafficking. Undertack isn't your typical men's boxers. They're made with modal. Think of like cotton, just way better. They're 50% more moisture wicking, antibacterial, and way softer. Undertack stays in place with a sturdy yet comfortable extra wide waistband, and the fly design is brilliantly straightforward. They're durable, ultralight, fade resistant, and shrink resistant. And here's the best part. They're almost 30% less than the competition. And again, they donate a portion of their profits to multiple organizations fighting human trafficking. You guys, have been wearing them for a little bit over a year now, and I absolutely love them. Go pick up a drawerful today, undertac.com. That's undertac.com. And you can get 20% off site-wide by using my offer code Klug20. Undertac comes with a satisfaction guarantee, and you're helping to make the world a better place. That's undertac.com, spelled undertac.com, undertac.com, offer code Klug20. Take advantage of this, you guys. Let's jump back into the video. Again, the optics are just too good. So we have, lastly, this guy right here. This one's a little bit longer. This guy right here, he worked up a big speech because a lot of these students, they just, this is their big moment to shine, right? They all have their phones out when it comes to trying to maybe disrupt or make the speaker feel bad or whatever it may be. This is their big moment to stand up to the man, to rage against the machine, even though they have little to no clue that they are the machine.
My question isn't specifically about anything you really said tonight, although I don't really agree with anything you said.
Okay.
I'm proudly part of the LGBTQ community. I've always stood up for my community whenever I needed to. I want to focus specifically on, I've been listening to you for a little bit just to understand some things. A live stream you did about Pride Month in June on Facebook because you were no longer allowed on YouTube. The event that you were talking about, I actually had the honor of attending that event with a lot of my really close friends, and I found it very perplexing to me how you choose to only focus on the things that are negative when it comes to the queer community.
Sorry, when it comes to what community?
The queer community.
Okay.
Do you not realize that people like you and people like the people you're around and that, continue to have this idea of us are the reason we feel that we have to be so openly proud of who we are? Your demented homophobic and transphobic rhetoric and rants just further prove our point that we have to fight loudly to be respected. The reason that LGBTQIA plus suicide rates are so high in this country isn't just because we're part of the community.
Before he moves on to suicide rates, fight so hard to be accepted. Why, what does, so to be more accepted, people that say that they're a part of the LGBTQ kind of, let's say, mob more so, because I know a lot of people don't consider themselves a part of that group, that activist kind of group. So they have to invite kids to drag shows. They have to invite kids to pride events where people are half naked or sometimes fully naked. Like, that's sticking it to the man right there. That's his point.
Community. It's because there are people like you who make us feel like we don't belong. The only LGBTQ agenda we have is
okay. Is there a question in there or a speech?
Yes.
You got to ask a question, buddy. I know you wrote this out in your notes, but ask a question. Let's go.
How do you think other people who, with your beliefs, respond to the fact that your hateful and harmful rhetoric costs the lives of queer children every single day, on average, every 45 seconds?
Okay, so this is just going to be a pure boogeyman. You're pretending that someone committed suicide because of Candace Owens. You've got no facts here. You're just going, it's your rhetoric that's causing all of this.
Candace cuts this off right here on YouTube. We'll let it play. We'll let it play right now. It is on X. So let's go back to this.
You're pretending that someone committed suicide because of Candace Owens. You've got no facts here. You're just going, it's your rhetoric that's causing all of this. When in reality, you want to talk about the tea. I sat down with a man named Walt Heyer who was convinced to chop his off after your community told him that there was something wrong with him because he had confusion. Why was he trans? Because he was when he was 4 years old by his uncle. Rather than being sat down and spoken to by a psychologist, he was handed hormone pills, and he eventually chopped off his penis. Walt Heyer is now 80 years old. He detransitioned, and he does a lot of work talking about why it is that he runs a charity, okay, an actual charity that is dedicated to sex change regret, of people who have changed their parts and can't go back. And you know what happens? Suicide rates go up after they transition. And Candace Owens wasn't the one that chopped their off.
Mic drop. You can see, he's got his big speech going. He says, how do you respond to the fact that because you push against a lot of the just insane, borderline evil stuff, right? Or I think you could very easily say that sterilizing children is probably pretty evil. How do you respond to criticizing against stuff like that? Or criticizing against inappropriate books in schools, or all of that is being responsible for suicide rates. He actually said that that's a fact as well, that people like her are causing that. He said that's a fact. What fact? Tell us. What's going on there? The most interesting part about this Once you look into it, and it's really gross and despicable for people to leverage somebody's issue with, their mental health issues, them taking their own life, and you saying it's because you said this book shouldn't be allowed in schools because it's inappropriate, and for some reason there's kids going at it, with each other, and people want that in middle school. What's going on there? No, get it out. That is not the reason why somebody decides to take their own life. And for these people to leverage those deaths and to put that on you with literally no factual basis at all is just despicable. It's disgusting. And these people really just need to be put in their place. Candace did a fantastic response right there. She was talking more about the tea, and we can talk about that really quick. Once you look into this stuff, a lot of it just ends up being total BS. These are disgusting lies that they do to actually push their agenda. They leverage those deaths, those suicides, those murders, whatever it may be. They leverage those to push their agenda. So when it comes to people saying, oh, well, if you criticize that kids can't go on puberty blockers and then go on cross-sex hormones and then get surgical procedures, you criticizing that is creating more hate. And therefore there's they say it's their wording, right? They say trans genocide. And that's what they say, right? They say that there is a trans genocide happening in the United States. And that's supposed to stoke fear in people to get people to support them. The problem with that, though, is there's no basis for this at all. You look at the actual statistics, you dig into it, it takes literally 20 seconds, and you find that the murder rate among people that identify as trans is about less than one third the general population's murder rate. So the general population, there's a 3x genocide happening. Is that the logic here? A lot of this stuff is lies just to get people scared to support them. Candace responded perfectly. I will say again, the optics here, right? The optics of having a pregnant woman just over dealing with the silly questions and firing back quickly is some of the best optics that I've seen recently. And quite honestly, some of the funniest optics that I've seen recently. Going back to this still right here. Candace listening to this girl talking. And that face on a pregnant woman I just think is the funniest thing ever. And also lastly, mad respect to Candace for going out, speaking, doing Q&As like this. This is really hard stuff. And the fact that she's pregnant doing this is really remarkable. What a super mom. Anyways, you guys, let me know what you thought about these exchanges down in the comment section below. If you want to check out these videos, I'll put links down to Candace's full episode, or at least the part highlighting these woke college students. So if you guys want to check that out, link will be down in the description below. Let me know what you guys thought about my commentary. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that bell notification button so you're notified next time I post. I'll catch you guys all in the next video.